The Buddha was about to enter nirvana 3 months later. At that time, the Buddha was living in the country of Kosinaja. At that time, many bodhisattvas, monks, and countless people came to the Buddha's residence. Bow to the Buddha, the world-honored one remained silent, and the light on his body did not appear as usual. The person next to the Buddha, sage Ananda, first bowed to the Buddha and then asked the Buddha for instructions. When the Buddha, the world-honored one, preached the Dharma in the past, his body would emit a majestic light. But this time at the conference, the light of the body did not appear. Why is this happening? There must be some reason for this. The disciple asked the Buddha and the world-honored one to reveal its meaning. The Buddha remained silent and did not respond. Seeing that the Buddha was silent, Sage Ananda asked the Buddha again for instructions. Sage Ananda asked for instructions 3 times in total, and then the Buddha explained it to everyone. After I enter nirvana, when the Dharma is about to be destroyed, in the filthy world of sentient beings at that time, even the basic 5 precepts could not be observed. The evil will become more and more prosperous.
People who practice evil ways will join Buddhism and destroy and disrupt my Dharma as Buddhist disciples. They wear worldly clothes and covet brightly decorated cassocks, doing drinking, eating meat, killing, and greedy things. They have no compassion and hate and envy each other. At that time, there were bodhisattvas, pratyekabuddhas, and arhats who diligently and conscientiously cultivated virtues. He is respected by people because he treats everyone with respect. They educate everyone with an equal mind, show pity to the poor and the elderly, dedicated to education and helping people overcome adversity. They taught everyone to make offerings to the Buddha with perseverance and to study the scriptures without interruption. Do all kinds of meritorious deeds and cultivate the moral will to be grateful and do good. They do not harm people, but dedicate their body, mind, financial and material resources to rescuing sentient beings. Not selfish, and able to bear humiliation, kindness, and kindness. Such good people will be jealous and slandered by Buddhists who practice evil ways. Deliberately vilifying and promoting evil deeds made it impossible for them to live there, and they were later driven away by everyone. The temple was left vacant and desolate, and was not repaired for a long time and became ruined. Although evil people have property, they only focus on gathering for themselves and do not do anything to bring good fortune. They sold slaves and maidservants and were busy plowing and planting. Burning mountains and forests harms all sentient beings without any compassion at all. The slave is a bhikkhu and the maid is a bhikshuni. Wicked people have no moral cultivation and engage in sexual immorality. Men and women mix together and live together without distinction. The Buddhist precepts are getting weaker and weaker day by day, all because of this generation. In order to avoid persecution by county officials, some people joined Buddhism but did not abide by the precepts. On the 1st and 15th day of every lunar month, although it is well known for chanting sutras and observing precepts, it is perfunctory and tired of slacking off. I don't want to hear good people expounding the scriptures and discussing the Tao, but I copy the scriptures and omit the front and back. He refused to copy and paraphrase what the scriptures said one by one, and he also refused to recite the scriptures. Some disciples who interpret scriptures do not know the true meaning of Buddhist scriptures. But he imposed his own words and ideas. Do not ask for the opinion of a sage who has clearly understood the gist of the scriptures. They think they have a high status and seek fame for it. A person who falsely displays graceful words and actions to take pride in and hope to win the support of others. These Buddhists who have committed many bad karma will fall into the endless hell and suffer endless pain after death. After the retribution of hell karma is exhausted, one will still suffer in the realm of hungry ghosts and animals. The number of experiences required is like the sand of the Ganges, endless. After the retribution for sins is fulfilled, one will be reborn in a frontier where there are no 3 jewels of Buddhism. When the Dharma is about to disappear, women practice diligently and make meritorious deeds constantly. Men are lazy and arrogant and do not practice according to the guidance of the Dharma. When people regard the Dharma as dung and have no confidence in the Dharma, the true Dharma will disappear. At that time, all the gods shed tears. The world's climate is unstable and crop yields are low. The epidemic raged and many people died. Although the common people are hardworking, they suffer from the wrath of officials, so their life is very difficult. People no longer abide by moral principles and create their own goals and tricks for fun. The number of evil people is increasing like the sand in the sea, but the number of good people is as few as 1 or 2. The great catastrophe is approaching. The days and nights will become shorter, and the passage of life will become faster. People grow old at 40. Men are so promiscuous that they die prematurely, with an average lifespan of about 60 years. Men have a short lifespan, but women have a long lifespan. Women can live 70, 80, 90 or even 100 years. Suddenly, the flood rushed over and submerged the earth, but the days when the water receded could not be seen. However, people in the world do not believe that the flood will not recede and think it is a normal phenomenon. All living beings, regardless of their species, high or low, are drowned and floating in the water, and are eaten by fish and turtles. At that time, there were bodhisattvas, pratyekabuddhas, and arhats who were driven away by evil people. They are not allowed to have contact with the public. A practicing saint can only live in seclusion in a blessed place in the mountains and forests, where he can be comfortable and happy. Lifespan is thus extended. At that time, in order to safeguard the righteous Dharma, the gods who protected the Dharma were born under the moonlight and took turns to restore the righteous path. 52 years later, the Shurangama Sutra and the Prajna Samadhi Sutra disappeared one after another. The 12 Buddhist scriptures were discovered and then disappeared again. It has since ceased to appear and is no longer circulated in written form. Buddhist cassocks naturally turn white. The demise of Buddhism can be compared to an oil lamp. When it's about to go out, the light gets brighter and then goes out quickly. Dharma goes out, just like the flame of an oil lamp goes out. What happened after this is difficult to fully explain. After tens of millions of years like this, Maitreya Bodhisattva will descend from the Tusita world to the human world and become a Buddha. The world is at peace, all poisons have been eliminated, wind and rain are nourishing, and grains are abundant. Growing trees and humans are 8 feet tall and live for 84,000 years. The sentient beings saved by Maitreya Buddha are immeasurable. The sage Ananda bowed to the Buddha and then asked the Buddha what name he should call this sutra. At the same time, how to uphold this sutra. The Buddha said, "Ananda, this sutra is called the Sutra on the End of Dharma. This sutra should be preached to all people so that people can distinguish between good and evil, right and wrong." So, the merits of promoting this classic are too numerous to be calculated. The 4 disciples of the Buddha were all miserable and melancholy after hearing this sutra. With the supreme heart of seeking the true holy way, he bowed to the Buddha and left.